There are two verbs for the verb to know in Portuguese. Saber, conhecer. Saber means to know factual information and how to do something, while conhecer means to know a person, place, or thing, essentially being familiar with an idea. The difference between the two matters because using the verbs in daily speech will make your Portuguese sound natural and precise. Before using them in context, we need to know their conjugations, at least in the present tense, starting with saber, to know factual information. In the present, saber is irregular only in the eu pronoun. Sei, sabes, sabe, sabemos, sabem. Now that we know the conjugations, we can see some examples, like eu sei a resposta. Tu sabes a resposta? Você sabe meu nome? Nós sabemos a verdade. Eles sabem onde fica o restaurante. In this case, saber is about knowing how or knowing that, essentially knowing information, and it also works with infinitives, because the words show skills. In English, the word how is added, but in Portuguese, it's not needed, because saber already creates the structure of know how to. Some examples are eu sei nadar. I know how to swim. Ela sabe cozinhar. She knows how to cook. Nós sabemos falar português. We know how to speak Portuguese. In general, saber is an excellent verb to use because it can work with other structures, like a noun, a conjunction, and question words. Some examples are eu sei a resposta. Eu sei que ele está em casa. Eles sabem quando começa. Now, let's see conhecer, which means being familiar with people, places, things, and ideas. In the present, conhecer is irregular only in the eu pronoun, because this letter is needed to maintain the soft sound of s. Conheço, conheces, conhece, conhecemos, conhecem. After knowing the conjugations, we can see some examples, like eu conheço a Maria. Você conhece meu amigo? Nós conhecemos essa cidade. Eles conhecem muitos lugares. As a grammatical note, Portuguese uses the personal a with conhecer when a direct object is a specific person, group of people, or pet. This indicates direct interaction or familiarity with that person, rather than a thing. It's a grammatical rule that shows respect for the person being known, because the verbs have a distinction with know who. By asking, você sabe quem é Pedro? We use saber with a question word. Do you know who Pedro is? On the other hand, by asking, você conhece o Pedro? We directly ask if we know Pedro, as in being acquainted with someone. Moreover, conhecer is very common with places, but it indicates an experience or familiarity with a place, rather than knowing the full information about a place. Some examples are: você conhece Portugal? Ela conhece bem o Brasil. Here, a subtle difference can show both meanings of the verbs. Eu sei onde fica Lisboa. I know where Lisbon is. Eu conheço Lisboa. I know Lisbon because I've experienced it or because I've been there. Even so, saber has an interesting use that is particularly common in Portugal. Sometimes it can precede something that can mean to taste like, as in, este bolo sabe a chocolate. However, in Brazil, it's more common to say, este bolo tem gosto de chocolate. Both mean, this cake tastes like chocolate, but in European Portuguese, saber is commonly used in this way. Similarly, saber and conhecer also have other uses that change the idea of knowing. While they can indicate information and familiarity, they can also mean finding something out or meeting someone for the first time. This is especially important because to know and to meet are different verbs in English, but Portuguese can use the verbs for both, depending on the tense and context, like the preterite past tense. This concept is more advanced, which I will explain in the next videos, but for this video, I will simply show their meanings in the past, without focusing on conjugation, because that requires a different video. In the preterite, saber means found out, and conhecer means met for the first time, like eu soube a verdade. I found out the truth. Eu conheci o Pedro ontem. I met Pedro yesterday. This difference is crucial, but as I said, this concept will be explained in the next videos. Overall, this is how the verb to know fully works in Portuguese. Saber is more about factual information and ability, while conhecer is about familiarity or acquaintance. Once this difference becomes automatic, you'll discover that choosing between the two is much simpler.